All right, so once you've received your SimCab hardware and completed the setup process, next it'll be time to walk through the installation of the software and the initial usage of it. Now your computer should have already come pre-installed with Meds Manager. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is open Meds Manager. It's a blue icon on the desktop. And you should see a screen that has an extended cabinet, a regular cabinet, and a cart. You'll select your hardware, either an extended cabinet, or a cart if you're setting it up for SimCart RX. You'll want to select your cabinet type. In our case, we're going to be using a nursing cabinet. And if you have a refrigerator lock, you'll want to check the Include Refrigerator Lock checkbox. The next portion is where you select the login authorization provider. Meds Manager integrates with a wide variety of online EHR solutions as well as a local database. If you choose not to have a subscription plan, the local database is for you. We'll be going with that one today, which is the pre-populated one. Just hit save, and it will then proceed to populate the database. This step could take between 5 and 10 minutes. Once the system has finished initializing, you should be able to log in simply by typing the default username and password, which is admin and admin. The first time that you log in, and any subsequent times that you log in, if you have yet to set up your cabinet, you'll be greeted by a message prompting you to view the Quick Start Guide. If you'd like to do that, hit yes, otherwise hit no. And then you'll be taken to the home page, the main screen. The home tab here offers a place where you can see announcements, providers' orders, as well as search for drugs. So let's start at the leftmost tab, the Stock tab, and we'll work our way to the right. Okay, the Stock tab is the heart of your cabinet. This is where you'll go to stock items as well as to take them out. You can also view the inventory by location, search for things using the Filter tab, or reorder drugs that you've run low on straight from Pocket Nurse. To stock an item, you can either scan it with your barcode scanner or select the load option from the empty pockets list. Then you'll select the drug and hit the stock button. It's that simple. You will need to type a lot number in, and we recommend an expiration date as well as a quantity if you have any to enter. If you don't have any quantity, then you can leave it empty and the drawer will not open. If you type a quantity in, the drawer will open when you hit Update and Access. There's a par level that's used for determining if you're running low. The Mark Emergencies button or checkbox will mark this as an emergency drug, which will show up in your report section. There's also 3 radio buttons for marking things commonly used or unused. This also is for when you run reports. When you hit Update and Access, the drawer that you've selected will pop open. You can place the drug in there and then hit Update and Close, and it will enter into your stock. Items that are in your stock have 3 options: update quantity, edit item, and access/empty. The update quantity is used simply to update the number of items in stock, and if you remove any that are marked as narcotic, it will prompt you to waste them. The access/empty button will allow you to simply access the drug just straight up, or empty the pocket if you desire, and that'll remove the item completely from stock. The edit item will bring you back to the screen that you originally saw when you were loading the item. It'll allow you to change the lot number, expiration date, or anything else that you'd like to change about the drug. Additionally, you can view what's in the stock location simply by tapping on that row. And it will show you a non-editable pop-up modal with pertinent information. You can hit the close button or use the escape key on your keyboard to get out of it. Now let's move on to the Waste tab. The Waste tab is very straightforward. You select a drug from your stock, an amount that you'd like to waste. There's a free text field, or you can scan the drug with your barcode scanner and then select the amount to waste. Then you'll need to enter an observer's username and password. The observer's username and password is required in simulation just as it is in a real hospital setting. That can be your friend, your buddy, your instructor, but in a hospital setting it would have to be another nurse on your floor. The formulary comes preloaded with Pocket Nurse's formulary. It includes their entire line of demo dose products, and you can scroll through them. You'll see there are quite a bit. You can hit the edit button, but for most Pocket Nurse items, there is nothing to edit. However, if you want to create your own item that is not a Pocket Nurse item, you can select your drug, your brand name, and then enter dose and formulation information. You can click on the plus icons next to the drop-downs to add a new generic drug or brand name. You'll fill out the NDC 1011, product SKU number, barcode, and cost information. If you have an image, you can add the image. The barcode information is used for scanning drugs, so it's important that you get that right, if nothing else. You can, of course, filter your drugs by demo dose products, formulation, drug name, or even free text field. Just like with the stock page, if you click or tap on an item, you'll open up a viewer that shows you the information in a read-only format. Again, you can close it by tapping the close button or pressing escape on your keyboard. The report section tells you what you've done on your cabinet. There are access logs, discrepancy logs. There are 12 different reports that you can choose from. The instructor can see all 12 reports. Students, depending on their permissions, can only see one, maybe 3 or 4. Each report is hopefully self-explanatory, so I'm not going to go through every single one of them. And if you have more questions, you can, of course, refer to the documentation that came with SimCart or SimCab for more details. The documents page comes pre-populated with 3 different items, but you can always add your own. You press the New button on the bottom left, and it'll prompt you to upload a document. You select, you can enter the title and description, and then tap the Browse button to locate the file that you'd like to add. We'll select an image, and then you select the permission. The admin always has permission, but you can choose between the pharmacist, pharm tech, and nursing roles. There is also an is enabled flag that is checked by default that you can uncheck. The is enabled flag determines if the file is displayed to students or not. Once you've added a file, you can then edit, delete, download, or print it. The Orders tab is where you can enter providers' orders. If you're Meds Manager is not connected to one of the online solutions, then this is the interface that you're going to want to use. If you tap the New button in the bottom left of the screen, you can create a patient with a first name, last name, age, and gender. And then you can add medications to them. Your medication is simply a free text field, so you can put in whatever you'd like to add. There are comments that you can add, and then an is visible checkbox. Checking that will allow your student learners to see it. Leaving it unchecked will mean that it's hidden from the students. If you've ever worked in a hospital setting, you're aware that recalls are a daily part of your life. Meds Manager for SimCart RX and SimCab RX offer the ability to create recalls. Under the Recall tab, you simply hit New, and then fill in the drug name and the recall text that you would like to display. Tapping Enabled will display it to the student. Unchecking Enabled will mean that the student cannot see it. Each student will be able to see the recall notice individually and confirm that there are no recalled drugs in their cabinet or cart. And once the student has marked that they have acknowledged the notice, other students will still see that notice. The Messages tab works much in the same way that the Recall Notice tab works. You can create a message and it will be visible to every student that logs in until they dismiss it. The Users tab is where you manage your users. This is only available for the administrators, and it lets you control the permission of who exactly can use this cabinet. You'll need to enter a username as well as a password in order to set them up. You'll also want to select the account type. First name, last name, phone, and email are preferred, but none of those are required. Once you've created a user, they can log in with the permission and will be granted the permission that you've given them. For example, a user with an account type of nurse will see fewer options than a user with an account type of pharmacist. On the home page, under the Announcements tab heading, there are recalls and messages. The recalls can be marked as read, and then they will disappear. The messages as well can be marked as read, and then they will disappear. The provider's orders that were previously created will show up under the provider's orders text. There you'll have a list of their pertinent information as well as a list of medications. In our example, John Doe has Tylenol as a medication. If we click on Tylenol, the drug search text box will automatically populate with Tylenol, and the system will search the cart for Tylenol. Now, often that's not exactly what you're looking for. You may need to tweak the search settings, but this enables the learners to quickly associate the medicine that they're looking for with being able to search for it in the cabinet. We will now go up to the top menu on the right-hand side. There is a Help button. Clicking on that will take you to the website where you can view a quick start guide. The Admin tab is actually your name. In the database, the admin user's first name is populated as admin, but if another user is logged in with their name filled out, what they will see is their name. And they will be able to see their information as well as their role and update some information such as their email address and phone number. They can also update their password from this location simply by typing their password and confirming it. Should the user change their password and then forget it, you as an administrator can always go back to the Users tab and change it for them. The Settings button takes you to the settings for Meds Manager. Depending on how your meds manager is configured, some options may or may not be displayed. The first thing that's displayed is the About. That'll tell you when the meds manager was installed and a primary contact. There's an Audio Alerts tab, which will configure your hardware to make a noise. Not all hardware supports this, but for hardware that does support it, we allow you to configure that setting. There's a Barcode Scanner tab, which will allow you to enable or disable the barcode scanner. Additionally, if your barcode scanner has been configured with a specific prefix or suffix, you can enter them here. Additionally, some people like using the barcode scanner to access the drawers, the doors, and the pockets. If you're one of those people, you can also configure the location barcodes from right here. You can change any drawer or door to whatever barcode you'd like, and simply by hitting save, that will update the system. The Cabinet Information tab offers the ability to set things such as cabinet name and description. Those are handy for printing reports. They will appear on the bottom of every report that you print. Additionally, the Cabinet Information tab has a very important setting. If you've installed the refrigerator lock and you notice that in your stock tab, the incorrect things are happening, you can come here to Cabinet Information and under First Device, select SimCab RX or refrigerator lock. You can flip it and see if that works. That should fix any issues that you have. SimEMR integration. This shows you how the cabinet is currently configured and will allow you to potentially change it. The Formulary page will allow you to manage drugs and brand names. You can select that window and watch as the application crashes. No. You can select that window and you'll see a full list of drugs, as well as by clicking on them, and you can see the brand names, tall man, schedules, descriptions, everything that you could want to manage your formulary is hidden in here. You can also check for updates. If you push the update button, it will connect to a KBPort website and download the latest information from Pocket Nurse. The primary contact tab is simply who you would like the users to contact should there be an issue. Generally, this could be an IT person at your school or the head of the department. Somebody who is familiar with the hardware and the software before they need to contact KBPort. The printing tab is where you can enable printing or disable printing. There are 3 different printers that are available to you. The report printer, which is nothing more than a laser printer, a wristband printer for printing wristband labels for your patients, and a barcode printer if you'd like to print barcode labels for any medications that you may be using that don't come with barcodes. By enabling them, you'll see print buttons throughout the interface, and by disabling them, those print buttons will no longer be visible. If you've purchased a refrigerator lock, or should you wish to reconfigure the door of your device, you can go to the Shelving Manager. Select the hardware configuration from the drop-down on the top right-hand side of your screen, and then play around with the different options. You can add items to the interface by clicking the plus button. You can add shelves by using the slider on the top right-hand side. Hitting Save Configuration will write those changes to disk. And I recommend only doing that if you have some time to devote to adjusting their sizes. as this will also update the way that the stocking interface works. And it may take some tweaking for you to figure out how to get it to display properly for your specific hardware and shelving needs. Lastly, there's the Logout button. Tapping that will log you out. That is Meds Manager for SimCab RX and SimCart RX. Thank you.